Hi there, I just wanted to make a video that I was thinking about today while I was, cleaning up my house, doing some chores and exercising a bit and going through my motions of thought. And I was thinking about self-respect versus self-esteem. And self-esteem and self-respect, when I look at it in the world, and obviously I turn to some of the institutions, particularly like government and religion, and then I also see all the fighting and shit that's going on. See, and I think that self-esteem, like, it's good when there's democracy. But whenever there's not really a democracy, when people aren't able to discuss their ideas in a free and equal setting, then being arrogant and having a high opinion upon yourself to the point where other people become obviously wrong, or you discriminate, and there's hatred and pettiness and pet peevish. People get pet peevish about things that they don't like or and such. And then this high self-esteem, especially with religion, is that it turns pet peeves into fucking moral indignations, where people are fucking getting mad over just the things that fucking don't even matter. You know what I mean? Like people having gay sex, or somebody fucking shooting up a drug and feeling some kind of way. A lot of it, I think, comes from fucking the prudishness of the puritanical churches that started up, and the puritanical movements of the early colonial times, when people were against all forms of pleasure. Anybody who was trying to feel good about something, too bad for you, And where I see is that in regards to self-respect, is that in self-respect, you don't cop out on your shame. You don't cop out on reflecting upon your life, upon the stupidest shit you did, and learning from it. And you learn to have an appreciation for your life and for other people's lives. It's like putting your mind inside of your head, inside of your bones, smelling your own blood, and then asking whether or not you really want anybody else's to be shed, because you have self-respect. And you look at that from that angle. And a lot of things in wars is that every side, here's the thing about the self-esteem and self-respect thing, is that every side of every military force on earth has always promised fame, fortune, and glory for those who fought with them. But the problem is that, from what I've learned through sports, is that either you're gonna lose or you're gonna win. Now, we want to say, oh, they'll be honored after death, or they'll give it honorable this and honorable that. But when you face the fucking facts, if you run out there on a battlefield to kill another human being, either you're going to win or you're going to lose. Now, people want to attach their self-esteem to this, because they want to they want to be the warrior and be that kind of stuff. But when you break it down, a lot of it's animal. A lot of it's basic animal, basic territorial, fight or flight, improving the ego, self-esteem, improving self-esteem and ego. Now, if you go out to fight, you die, you dead. You die, you're dead. And there's a lot of that encourages through self-esteem, which they trick people, because men already have that part of their nature and they just manipulate it. And so you get all these soldiers and all these people who are, like, in their minds and in their being, they're like puppy dogs, because they're like, they're just good old puppy dogs, like good old pals and friends, and they get along with each other, and they compete with each other, and they're just like dogs in the fucking out at play. And I don't really have I'm not discriminating against anybody who, any other male or anything. I'm looking at it from sort of a male perspective, not necessarily any other kind of demographic. But the thing is that, yeah, it's like people, they have to be able to respect themselves to the point where they feel that they know that they're just a fleshly thing of blood, and that they shouldn't go out and fucking hurt people to improve their self-esteem because they lack any sense of fucking victory. And here's the thing about self-esteem and self-respect is that to respect yourself, you kind of have to do things that allow you to look back on your life and say, I respect myself because of this. Self-esteem and listening to fucking all this new age shit and all that kind of stuff, it's like they're telling you that you're good and you're perfect without you even doing anything. And what does that make people? Just inflates their pride and inflates their egos, and they live in fucking elitism and fucking all this other shit, and they're not actually doing anything. They're just exercising their body. They're not doing anything. They're just clearing their head and their thoughts, and anybody can fucking do that shit. But they're not doing much out there in the world that's actually good. They're not building anything. They're not trying to get people. They're not showing respect to people. It shows a lot of elitism on all sides: government, religion, fucking movements, any kind of movements. Self-esteem, self-respect. Either you're gonna do good things and respect yourself and push through all the shame whenever you don't do things right and learn from your mistakes, or you're gonna cop out and just be a self-esteem fanatic and fucking seek your own fucking inflated ego and your own inflated sense of self, and end up becoming a truly fake person, portraying the image of things that they've seen and wish to be out of envy. Living up like in my own life, I see a lot of people acting like they're gangsters and shit. Well, it's like that's all the same image. Not everybody who has the fucking look is walking the walk, you know what I mean? And there's some people who do walk the walk, but at the same time, you shouldn't inflate your ego for an image. You should be yourself, but at the same time, you should try to work harder and respect yourself. And I love everybody in that regard. It will take you through things in your mind if you are brave enough to venture off into the unknown and into all kinds of holistic patterns and knowledge and analytical thought of life. And you will break free of things that you might have just been born around, grown around, and find your individual, become your individual, and you will face pain and it will stretch your brain. It's a good rhyme, but it's the truth. And in any case, I would say in my closing line on this would be, you'll gain more respect by showing respect. You'll gain more esteem by recognizing the good in other people, and you will improve in your respect and in your own esteem when you find ways to get those things out of your body in positive manners. We all get angry, we all get sad, and you turn things like that into positive. There's a lot of different kind of rhetorics out there. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, have a personal relationship with God, fight for your right to party or something, like anything kind of in that regard, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you have to find a way to manage your self-esteem and your self-respect. I kind of feel like I don't really want to feel vain all the time, because if I feel vain all the time, then I'm feeling that there's always going to be a competition of vain. If everybody's trying to fight over to be the same image or the same thing, of course there's a lot of envy and a lot of jealousy and a lot of just competitive shit over to be the same thing. But it's like, in the end, it just looks stupid most of the time. It does look stupid, and it is pretty stupid. We could fight, anybody could fight in the ring, and they could take it to sports, and sports is where it's at. That's where it should have been at. But, in the stages of the ego and mind, people go from being like an athletic person to being a warrior or soldier. But, I've lived that in my own stage of life and feeling like a warrior long enough, not really getting into many problems I wouldn't wish, but seeing things that I would think that, even you could go past the stage of the ego, which is like a warrior or soldier, and become like a war chief, or become like somebody who you're not really a war chief, but like a chieftain of sorts, and like you actually like you think that anybody around you, yeah, they could be angry and they could fight, but for the most part, you're fucking having peace where you sit, and ain't nobody getting fucking hurt and nobody getting fucking disrespected, and you maintain, a cool balance of area without demeaning or lessering anybody else around you. And that's the thing I think of when it comes to the ego and self-growth, is that it turns back to self-respect. All the self-esteem and all that, it comes back to self-respect, and to look back in your life and think about the things that you've done, not just hear about quotes and ideas that other people have to motivate you each day. Action comes before motivation, and you have to put good action first before you could think of what your motivation is behind it. You know that you should be good. You know that you shouldn't have to be motivated to be good. And you shouldn't have to feel good about yourself to be a good person, because being a good person will make you feel good about yourself. In any case, that's all I want to say. And I know in the end, we're all going to fuck up and act in habitual madness to our habits and day-to-day agendas, and sometimes beat our chests and such and such ways. But that's part of this world, and I pray for those who are stuck in their habits that need to change, have focus, have silence, and have self-respect. And for the people who aren't stuck in their habits, that are doing things that they need, that are out there doing things, moving things, have confidence and kindness. Self-esteem, it starts from kindness. So have a confidence in being kind, and you will get your self-esteem. You will get raised up in society. In any case, that's all I want to say for right now. I'm sorry we're all hypocrites, but damn it, that's the way it is, and a lot of us are shitty. So all I can say is, I look ugly, you look ugly, but I respect you. Alright, have a good day.